Put your phone away. It's time. It is time.
Alright, so we'll see what the background noise is like.
Don't do
I
that.
didn't lick it. That's ridiculous.
I didn't.
I can feel it.
I didn't lick it. You're crazy.
I can feel it like it's. Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
She's just.
I'm. Which.
It's been a while. We don't know what we're doing.
I'm the problem. Clearly.
Jenny.
Oh, hi. Hi everyone.
It's been a minute.
Why do you guys always cover me up?
You're in shadow. You're
We're-
shadow.
we're-
What? No. There you go.
Why am I covered up? Nobody can see me. They can't see me. Now I know I don't have a big fan base.
Cover me up.
Apparently it's a problem.
I got a little bleach on this. So excuse me.
Hi, we're back. Welcome to Shelf Control. We're working our way through our collection of games, and today we're going to talk about Lost Ruins of Arnak. We have a
Runes or ruins?
ruins. What did I say?
Ruin, just like my
Lost
shirt
Ruins.
with the bleach stain.
Ruins of Arnak.
I
So-
bought it like this.
We got a playthrough that we recorded a long
the
time
store.
ago.
That was our first video ever.
It was one of our test videos, so we'll probably have thrown that up. If you guys are interested in watching a playthrough, then you can check our channel, look back in the past videos for that. Right now we're just going to be talking about the game itself and what we think about it. So, who
All
wants
right.
to start?
Cut. Do you think the jingle from the
It is what it is.
okay.
We're not cutting. This is live. We don't edit.
We have a dog laying down just down there, chewing a bone.
Right there.
So,
That way. Straight
Yeah.
We actually in October rescued a greyhound. So we went to Arkansas and got him, and we love him.
That's the Lost Ruins of Arkansas.
so if you hear any chewing noises,
It's not us.
licking noises,
We aren't doing that.
It's not us
that's,
either.
That's the ASMR section of this video, so you can get your headphones. But other than that, it'll be us talking.
All right. So what was your question? What do we think of the game?
Who wants to go first? Just talking in general about the game.
This is a phenomenal game.
Well, first of all, didn't you... So this came with the game, right? These things?
No.
No.
These three
Did.
did.
Okay. So Norman, I think we talked about it in the playthrough. He kind of put some tarnish or...
Yeah, it was an antiquing thing
Yeah.
that I got at a craft store.
So he antiqued the tablets to make them look pretty cool. So that was exciting.
So they were clear, just clean white plastic. And
Well,
if I
like
can
bone color.
if you
Yeah.
can get a look, I don't know if you can get
yeah,
a
we
good
didn't
enough
hook up the overhead.
view of that, but it darkened the glyphs that are shown on there.
And so he also ordered just some compasses, whatever you want to print. And then so he ordered some of those, some plastic ones instead of the cardboard that the game comes with. And then we found some coins that we ordered online as well. So
Did you tarnish those too?
I
you
did
did a
I
few.
did tarnish the coins as well with that antiquing because the coins were really shiny.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to me, that didn't quite fit the archaeological theme. So I dirtied them up a little bit so they're not quite as shiny.
So if you've seen any of our past videos, you know that we have a thing for like the real kind of money and not the cardboard. So
And using these tiny compasses really fit the theme well because for the most part, they're functional compasses as well.
mm-hmm.
If you lay them all out on the table, you'll have 3 or 4 of them that point off in a weird direction. But for the most part, as long as you have a handful of these, you might be able to find your way around.
So you're never going to get lost playing Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Also, we use these cork coasters that we had gotten from IKEA,
yeah.
and they come in 2 different sizes. So if you have, I think it's like a 3-inch and a 4-inch size, and the 3-inch work really well for the tablets.
The arrowheads and the rubies.
Well, the larger ones work great for the money and compasses rather than just spilling them out on the board. I had learned about these. Unfortunately, I don't know who it was on Board Game Geek that mentioned these, but people were talking about a Kickstarter where they had wooden bowls that you could use to hold your stuff. And the wooden bowls were expensive, and somebody was like, I just use these from IKEA. I think they were
next to nothing.
They were like 2 for $1 something or something like that. And so I just, last time I was at IKEA, I just grabbed a handful of these, and they work, I can't say as well as the wooden ones, but I don't, because I haven't tried the wooden ones.
They work great for us.
But these are great, yeah.
So that's what we think about the game. So we're glad you've watched, and we appreciate it.
So that's just talking about the components. What we've added. The game comes with cardboard money, cardboard compasses, and if you're okay with that, that's fine. The tablets, even if you don't mark them up, the arrowheads and the gems are pretty high quality.
Okay.
So this was one that we'd introduced to Jenny fairly early, and we've played quite a few games of it. I don't remember how early it was, but it was probably in the first 5, maybe even earlier than that.
Yeah, for sure.
That we introduced it to her, and
I think I won the first time.
it's
I
possible.
won at Wingspan the first time. I think I won at this the first time. There were a couple where I won the first time. I also won at this today, just in case you wanted to know.
And if you watch our playthrough, you'll see that Jenny
my
cheated
gosh,
in it.
I didn't cheat.
So that's how she wins.
That's not true.
So she wins by cheating.
We've got
cheat.
that recorded in the
It was
video.
an
You'll see that.
accident.
Also, I think if I remember correctly, we had a problem where
Our overhead camera went out.
was it the overhead camera that went out, and so we had to then shift to just the front camera for the rest of the playthrough. But that was only for the last little bit.
And that might be like our first or second video we ever recorded. So we've learned, not much since then, but
So, what was your impression when we introduced it?
Oh,
to
I
you?
loved it. I loved it. Still love it. It has every component. I love all of the components. I love the deck building part of it. I love the worker placement part of it. I love whatever you call this, trying to achieve that. I love trying to get these and earning parts. I like everything about this game.
So there's a good
perfect for me.
There's a good balance in the game. I mean, if you try to focus solely on going up the track, you're not going to get enough points to win. If you focus solely on exploration, you're not going to win. I mean, you have to find that nice sweet spot between doing both of them to get a high enough score to win. And it's interesting that scores aren't that high. Some people, I think you said, actually score really high, and we don't. So
I don't know. I think maybe just occasionally someone would crack 90 points. This is with just the base game. We haven't played with the expansion yet. We'll be busting that out, and then we'll do a video on that. So look forward to that. But this is just the base game. I will say that when I purchased this, I got the expansion at the same time, and there were 2 components in the expansion that replaced components that were in here. There was one assistant that they deemed was a little bit too strong, and so they included that, and there was one artifact card that was priced a little cheaper than it was in the expansion. And so when I heard that, I went ahead and opened up the expansion and put those in, because I figured it wouldn't be fair to have what they considered stronger bits in the game, and me knowing that those were the stronger bits in the game, and
everyone else being at
picking
that
them up.
disadvantage. Yeah. So everybody we've introduced this game to has loved it. I don't know of a single person who hasn't liked it. We played it so much that I actually burned out of it for a bit, and so this is the first time we played it again this morning, and it was the first time probably in months that we've played it, and I enjoyed it. But I think I just played it way too much when we first got it, that I was done with it for a while. But I like more the exploration part of it, and the defeating the guardians and getting the resources that way. I don't focus usually so much on going up the research track, and that's usually where my downfall is, because I don't focus enough on this to get competitive with everyone else.
Something that I thought was interesting when I first heard about this game and was watching some people play, I was a little bit apprehensive about this game, just because when you're exploring someplace, you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're getting, and the guardians show up and they are all different, and so you don't know what materials are going to be required to beat the guardians. And so I was afraid that there'd be many times, especially early in the game, where you go explore somewhere, flip over a guardian, and be like, well, can't defeat them.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time.
So there's a couple, and there's this monkey with the
For money.
with the 4 money, and
Norm notoriously gets that every single time.
And there's the I think it's the owl that has there's an owl with 3 tablets, and both of those on the first turn can be brutal, but that's really 2 out of a bunch. Generally, what was a pleasant surprise for me was that actually going there a lot of times gives you the tools necessary to defeat the guardian in some way. And so it's not the first few turns of just, okay, well, I beat my head against this guardian and I can't beat him, so then somebody else comes along behind and takes him. A lot of times it may not be what you were hoping to do, but you will find a way to defeat the guardian.
One thing I find interesting is, you have, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds in the game. And they go by really fast, and then you're thinking there's so much you want to do that you're not going to have time to get done in the end of the game. But it's very interesting how when you're playing it, you think you're never going to get up the exploration track or the research track, and then all of a sudden in the last round, before you know it, you've shot all the way to the top, and you're thinking, how the heck did I have all the resources to do that? But it is amazing how you think you're not going to get anything done that you want to get done, but by the final round, it's like the turns just go so much longer because you're getting to do so much more. How that happens, I have no idea. Well, by then you usually have some assistants that can help you, and they give you additional resources, and you've maybe acquired enough compasses that you can explore at the higher levels. But it's interesting that you can get up the research track a whole lot faster towards the end of the game.
Yeah, you'll find yourself in like round 3 or 4, and you're going to be down in this lower part of the track, and all of a sudden you're going to be like, how do I possibly make it up? I think this last game I was doing so much exploring, my tokens were at the very bottom. Maybe even in turn 4, at the start of turn 4 they were down here. But
and you shot pretty much
at
up.
4 and 5, I was able to get just 1 space away from from actually getting up there. I might have gotten up there if Lisa didn't take an item that I wanted. That would have made things easier for me, but she took it.
Why live in the past?
So, because it kept me from discovering the Lost Ruins of Arnak.
So one thing I think is, just from playing with you guys, because I haven't played with anybody but you guys. You guys do the exploring all the time, and I will think about exploring, and I'll want to explore something, and then you guys have already usually jumped on it. So I focus a lot on this portion of it and use where you've explored to get my resources to do that, and then that also gives me the resources to get the cards, the artifacts, and the items, so that I can do more things and get more stuff. So
yeah, Jenny goes hard on artifacts and items.
Yeah, I have tons of cards.
Yes, you
I know.
See, in any game we play, Jenny has a thing with hoarding cards. I don't know what it is, but she has to have a lot of cards. It's like a security blanket, but she needs a lot of cards or something's not right in the world.
But I won.
You did win.
And I only had
and you
one
didn't cheat
guardian
this time.
Ugh.
So
that we know of.
In fact, I only had one guardian, and I even got a fear from that guardian because I didn't defeat him.
Yeah, you ended up with 3 fears in your hand, I think.
And I still won.
You did win, Jenny. Yeah.
I was excited about that win because I really thought you were gonna. I thought you had it.
No, I knew that I didn't.
Well,
Norm was higher than me.
He had so many guardians.
Yeah,
I ended up 1 point behind.
But that's the neat thing, I think.
Jenny actually, she skyrocketed early to the top of the research board, and then she ended up with the 23 points, and then she was able to get enough for the 11-point artifact. So she skyrocketed up there. So that was 34 points right there, just in her research. So she did well there.
That's one good thing I think in the design of this game is that everyone's racing up to the top, but when you get to the top, you're not done. You can get these 2-point tiles, these 6-point tiles, these 11-point tiles, and so it's not, I've gotten up here, now I can stop thinking about that and do something else. There's still a lot of points you can get on that track, and I think that's a really neat design element. Also, this game is the type where it always feels like, okay, I want to accomplish something, and between the cards in my hand, my resources, and what's on the board, the solution is, it always seems like the solution is there. Like, okay, I need to get 4 money to defeat this guardian. I've only got 1 money. Somebody's taken the 2 money spot. You know, where can I get this money? And it's like, okay, if I do this and move this token up here, I get 1 money, and then if I get that artifact will either give you money, or it might allow you to do something else where you can activate a spot that's already been activated and get the money. And so you just need to figure out, okay, how can I get that money, and then walk backwards to see what actions can I actually take to get that. Also, it seems like every action that you take ends up giving you a little bit of a profit, which feels nice. That there'll be moments where it's like, okay, I have an arrowhead and I can use it to accomplish what I want to do, but if I look, I can use this compass with this and this to do this, which then gives me this, which I can then use to buy that artifact, which gives me an arrowhead. And so you could just use the arrowhead to accomplish what you wanted, but if you're careful and looking, you can turn that arrowhead into something else and get an arrowhead back in return that you can then use to do what you want, which is really neat. It's a lot of fun when you find those things.
What I've noticed with you is when we first started playing this game, I mean, it was, again, one of the first games you'd played, and your turns would take forever because you didn't know how to do what he was just describing. And then playing now, it seemed to go a little bit quicker for you because you were able to figure out, okay, I want to get there, so I need to do this, this, and this. A couple times you were like, oh, I did that out of order.
Yeah.
But you've picked up a lot.
For sure.
In learning how to kind of connect the dots to figure out, okay, this is what I want to do. How am I going to get there? So I've seen you.
Yeah. I definitely.
Her turns would take maybe an hour.
Well, right.
Because she'd say, okay, I'm going to do that. No. I'm going to play. No. And I mean, it was just, she would talk it all out, but it would be, I mean, to the point that we would tease her because she'd be like, no. And it would be forever.
Now I also look more ahead.
Yes.
At the other.
Just your experience with other games we've played as well. I mean, I think in all the other games we've kind of introduced her to and played, all of these games tie in and give you skills that help you improve, and then you go back to one you played months and months ago and you're like, oh, like even when we played this today, we've played so many games in between that I'm like, oh, this is coming a whole lot easier. Certain things are just falling into place better with interpretation and just thought process.
And I don't know what your play group is like, but I've noticed that especially in the last round of the game when everyone's taking their last turn, everybody else who's already passed is like, oh, you're trying to accomplish that? Well, what if you did this and then this and then that and then that? And totally trying to help them get the most points so they can win. But that's something that I've found in this game, that the puzzle is so intriguing that you can't help but also be like
rooting for them to figure it out and get the and Feast for Odin is like that as well. I mean, even when you want to win the game, but you're trying to help people figure out the best way to work their puzzle and figure their things out so they can. And
Norm has been super helpful on that, to get my brain to think the way that he does, as far as like, if he says, oh, there is a way you can do it, then I'll be like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I've started doing that.
And you didn't listen today, and you didn't get what you needed. When? Wasn't there one she didn't listen to you on?
Was there one for getting the Guardian that I thought, no.
It had to do with an arrowhead.
Can't remember. But yeah.
That was one when I did something wrong.
Yeah,
I thought I was going to get 2 of something, but I was only getting 1 of something. It was because of that thing down there. I thought I was going to use...
Oh, your assistant?
I was going to use the gold side, but I was actually using the silver side, and that messed me up for the whole thing that I had planned to do. So that was my fault.
Yeah. It was your fault?
It was my fault. But I still won, so I don't care. This is just a really great game. It's just, there's nothing bad to say about it.
If you haven't noticed, someone likes to win and likes to throw it in your face when she does.
I'm not throwing it in her face. She has an issue with, she will throw it in your face. She likes to win.
I didn't win. I lost.
I
was in last place. Of course I love to win. My family's incredibly competitive. It's in my blood.
Anyway, I won today, and
Jenny won, in case you didn't know.
I don't care. I've lost more than I've won. But no, it's a great game. Even when you lose, it's still a really great game.
It was fun today.
One thing that I really like, and we haven't done enough, is right now I have this flipped over to...
I'll do it, Jen. Just hang tight. Hang tight.
The snake temple. So what do we got? Glare. It's a snake temple. So on the other side of the board is the bird temple.
You've made a mess.
And so it's got this double-sided board that changes not only the track going up here, what you need to spin to go up.
I didn't even notice that you turned it over.
But it also changes what's required to go to the different places.
We have not done this side enough.
We haven't done this side enough.
That's my fault.
It's Jenny's fault.
Because I was scared.
I feel like this side, the snake side, they say in the rule book, when you're getting started, start with the bird side. It has like double boats across here, double cars across here, and just all boats, all cars. And it's pretty simple. This snake side, you got double boats here, but you got car boat here. You got boot plane, double boots here, a plane here. You know, it mixes these up a little bit. Plus, this track going up here is
Very different.
Very different. So, if you played the bird side enough, you'll know, okay, if I can get the compass and the arrowhead and the gem, I'm moving both my things up. I'm getting an assistant. This here, it's a compass and 2 tablets and a gem, and then
this side is harder.
Go on.
But we've played it maybe once or twice.
And I really think that the designers, that this is the side of the board that they want you to play on. Just because there are cards that have a double boot on them. There are cards that are a car boat. Where on the other side, if you buy a card that's got the car boat, well, you're using it for either a car or a boat, or you're using it as a double boot down here at the campsites. Where on this side, you get the car boat, then that one card, it's like, okay, I could go up here with just that one card instead of having to play 2. And it changes the value. Cards that seem like they're not worth buying on the bird side, all of a sudden you're like, okay, that's really helpful for me. So I think this side is the side that you were supposed to be playing on, but so often this is a game that we bust out to introduce new players who haven't played board games before. Well, we'll introduce this to them. It's not that difficult for them to understand, and that puzzle just grabs people.
Yeah, we introduced Jenny's girls to this game, and they'd never played this level of board game. And they are both now absolutely hooked, and their husbands are now absolutely hooked to these games. And they both went out and bought these, and bought Lost Ruins of Arnak, and now they're starting to
build game collections.
Yeah, explore the world of real board games.
Real board games.
Well,
no, I know. I didn't
you had no
know.
idea what a real board game was.
I had no idea what a real board game was. No, I'm excited to play this side now because I'm so confident on the other side as far as like understanding the way that everything works. But I really was hesitant to play this side because I was like, this is no, it's overwhelming. But now I would love to play this side.
It's the exact same concept, just a little different. Yeah.
Oh, and they've done some neat twists where going up here, this is where you get your second assistant. You don't get it as a reward on the sides here, but you get it here, and then you can level it up here. And so they've changed the tracks.
Yeah, and the higher up on the track you get, you get fear cards, which is then going to push you to try to find a way to get rid of them before you get to the top. So,
all right, before we start talking about giving it a rating and as to whether or not it stays in our collection or not, and in case you haven't already figured that out, I want to talk a little bit about the solo for this game.
Which we have not played. We have not done the solo.
I have played the solo, and there's components in the box for playing solo that basically acts like a second player that uses, it's really neat, it uses all the player pieces that you're not using. So if I'm the blue, then it uses the yellow, red, and green workers, and they all will end up going out here. And you'll flip over a card that says, okay, they're going to this kind of spot, or they're moving up on this track, or they're defeating a guardian, or something like that. And there's a web app on their website that automates it for you. You just hit the button, and it also adds these objectives that change up how you play, where it might be get all your workers out, get your 2 workers out before he puts his 3 out. And if you do that, you don't get any bonus points, but if you fail to do that, if he gets 3 workers out before you get 2, then he gets 2 points for the end of the game. And it might be whoever does the research track, or whoever buys an artifact first. If he does it, he gets 2 points. If you do it, you're basically keeping him from getting 2 points. And so it can totally change the order that you want to play, because it's like, I really want to go there, but I don't want him to get these 2 points, so maybe I'll grab that item now, and then he can totally mess you up by going to a spot that you were going to go to anyways. And that is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's really simple to play that way because you take your turn, you flip over a card, it says he's going for coins. So you take the guy, you start from top to bottom, look for an open spot that has coins, put them on it, and then you take your turn.
And you know what's interesting is when you first played the solo by yourself, I remember you saying you didn't know how to take it. Like you weren't sure about it. You had to do like it 3 or 4 times before you finally were like, oh, okay.
No, that's the other solo. There's 2 solo versions, which is astounding for this game. The one where you're just using the app to play like another player, blocking spots and competing for points, is a lot of fun. I enjoy it so much. But that web app also has kind of like a solo campaign mode. And it is so neat how they designed it, because it'll start with like you coming to the island, and it'll have a story about how there was like a plane crash, and it'll actually have in the setup go through here and pull out the card that's got the crashed plane on the card, and it goes, I think it goes over the 2 compass spot.
Oh.
And it says take the airplane card out of that deck and put it under here.
Oh, so it ties into everything ties into it. That's
so,
neat.
And then there's some rule that you can actually spend, if you go to this spot and spend some resources, you repair that plane and it goes into your deck.
Neat.
And so it's got that element to it where like the art on these cards is astounding, but the fact that they would actually take the art of this card and be like, this card has crashed plane on it, boom, there's your crashed plane for the story.
For the storylines.
And then you'll play through the campaign, and then it's the same thing where I think that they have people blocking you as you go, but then you take your score, and then depending on how you do, if you save the plane, you get to carry the plane on to the next game. You get to keep that in your deck, and it will do some really neat stuff where on the other side of this bottom board you have the bottom board that holds all the resources and stuff. The other side, it's just water and your assistants, and it will go down here, and as you're playing so many turns, the app will tell you to move this up. So the island is flooding, and so places start going, and you lose if this ever overtakes your your spyglass or
so you have to keep moving your research up.
So you've like got to figure out, how am I going to move this up, because next turn this is moving up more, and spots are disappearing as it's happening. And
I don't know if I would like the stress of that.
It's really neat how they didn't just go with the typical solo of, okay, here's a system that automates another player, compete for the high score. They actually like took elements in the game, art pieces and things like that in the game, and was like, okay, how can we use these pieces to tell a different story, make a totally different puzzle from the multiplayer game? And I love that.
That's really impressive. I didn't even realize that.
So
again, it's a great game.
Yeah.
It's a really great game.
And I mean, you get Ryan George is on the cover of it.
We got Ryan George.
We got Ryan
here.
George, and if you don't know who he is, go check out his YouTube channel. He's hilarious.
It probably wasn't that difficult for them to put him on the cover. It was probably super easy.
Barely an inconvenience.
To get him to pose for the cover. So, Jenny, what do you rate this game?
10 out of 10.
Wow.
10 out of... This is the perfect game, and it leaves you wanting more. There is nothing... 10.
No complaint about anything.
Other than the fact that... Okay. with these components, it's a 10 out of 10. With the little cardboard pieces, the game is still a 10 out of 10. But, I mean, I do love playing with the upgraded pieces. But 10 out of 10 every time.
Lisa?
So I would say maybe a 9. I would say a 9. I mean, definitely worth keeping because, again, we've introduced so many people to this game and they've absolutely loved it. Like, this is, I think, it used to be Ticket to Ride was our introduction game to people. Lost Ruins of Arnak has now taken over. This is our introduction. If someone's interested in playing a game, this is what we will bring out every single time. And I've yet to find someone who didn't like it. So I think as far as that goes, it's great. Again, I'm a little... Right now, my head's a little off because I've burned out of it. We played it so much when we got it. Norm and I played it every single night.
You're giving it a 9 because you burn out. You burn out because it's
I
such a great game.
Because it was such a great game. We
So
played it
how
so
are
much.
you giving
That's
it a
what
9?
I'm saying.
It's a
because
10. She's giving it a 10.
I
I'll
don't
give it an
think
11
I-
if she's giving it a 9 because it's a 10. Hands down. Norm?
No, I'm not done.
You
I'm
are
not
so done.
I am not.
You burn out on a 10 game and you're trying to give it a 9. I mean, this is like, we need to
Because
go to
I'm
court.
trying to think.
This is wrong. This is wrong. What complaint do you possibly have? The game is so good, I had to stop playing it.
You know what? Because Jenny is so adamant that I need to make it a 10, I'm keeping my 9.
It's a 9 because it's a 10. That doesn't, so whatever.
So
Sometimes people just, you have to love them where they are, you know?
Isn't this about us giving our personal
Yeah.
ratings and not being
said
harassed
it's a
and
9.
judged about their ratings?
It's a 9 because
I thought the board game
I played
space
it too much because it was
was
such
a
an
safe
amazing game.
space. Okay, fine.
well, so she's given the knock to the replay value,
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
but
No buts.
but we don't play this side of the board.
No, I will happily play this a few times with this new side.
because this is a
Yes.
brand new puzzle
Yes.
up here, and when we,
I am appalled right now.
We're
Appalled.
a unit.
Are you his wife?
Yes, I'm his wife. If
Oh.
you watch our introduction video, it's quite clear that I'm his wife.
so
Still?
yeah, so you know, I have her back, but this game's a 10.
But
Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
This game,
I will support my wife, but it's a 10. She's wrong.
I mean, this game
This has everything, yeah.
does so much right. You've got the deck building aspect, and I've played many deck builders, and I like the deck building genre and the mechanics of it, but this game may have ruined that for me, because when you buy an item, it doesn't go into a discard pile.
Right.
It goes on top of your deck. You are drawing that next turn. So those items are part of your puzzle, where it's like, okay,
Yes.
next turn I'm going to want to do this. I'm going to need the compasses. That item will give me compasses, so give me that item so next turn I can play it and get those compasses.
And Norm does great at deck building because he will see a card and remember every single card he's gotten in the past to say, okay, this plays off of this plays off of that. And in this game, you really don't have that. So you kind of lose the advantage you have in that, where if we play a deck building game with Norm, I will 100% of the time always lose, just because of his strength in that. Like, he played Magic the Gathering. He did all these things that just really enhanced his deck building skills. And I don't have that yet. I don't have 15, 20 years of gameplay history to be as good as he is. So good on him for that. But I don't have that strength. And in this game, it's fair. It's fair in that he doesn't have that. It doesn't play off each other like a deck building does.
My strategy on the deck building part is
Get as many as you can.
Get as many as I can. The thing is, I want the points, plus I want the pieces. So I'm not actually deck building as the way he would be thinking of, like I'm not thinking about what am I pulling off of my deck next. I'm thinking which card is going to benefit me right now.
Yeah.
And then I may never see that card again. And I'm fine with that because I know I'm still getting points off of that card.
Right.
So.
And the artifacts, so items go on top of your deck after you buy them. The artifacts are different. When you buy them, you play them immediately for their effect. And then they get put on the bottom, shuffled and put on the bottom of the deck. So basically in your discard. So the artifacts are a little bit more like a traditional deck builder, except you get a use out of them immediately as well, which is
And then,
so nice.
yeah, and then to use them again, though, you have to use a tablet. So,
but then,
it may be one that you're using just right then, and you may never use it again in the game because you may not want to sacrifice one of your tablets for it.
But they, I think all the artifacts have a plane icon, which is a wild for traveling places. So if you don't use it for its ability, it still is a wild
Useful,
for going anywhere you want. So artifacts are really nice. So I'm used to the deck building games where it's like, okay, I got this much, I can buy that or that might be useful in the future. Let me take that, put it in my discard pile, and maybe later in the game I'll draw it with the right combination of stuff, and it'll work out. And
I think
I
I
like
need
this
to,
immediacy.
I think I need to play some more deck building games because I think I would really like them and maybe be good at them. I don't know. But I enjoy the cards. I just need to learn how to.
And we have not introduced the expansion yet. Like we don't even know. We've seen the expansion. We've opened the box, but we haven't played with it yet. So that could change everything again. It could be that we like just the base game. It could be we only want to play with the expansion. So I will. It is a 10. It is a 10 in all functionality. It is a 10. So
the expansion adds different player.
Why didn't you just say 10 to begin with?
the expansion, what, honey?
The expansion adds different player powers. So you will, the way that your camp works is different from everybody else's, which I think will add to the replayability a lot. Plus, it comes with an overlay that covers over the snake temple or the bird temple, and has a totally different layout and different ways that it works. And so once you add the expansion, not only do you have two sides of the board, you then have four different temple sides you can use. Plus you have these four different, it might even be more than four, it might be 5 player powers, so you have only 4 of them are in the game at a time. But it's one of those where it's like, oh, I had so much fun playing this guy, your guy looked really cool, I want to play again, and I want to play with that one.
So it's a different dynamic every time you play.
It's like you got, what's the cost of this game? It's well worth the money, first of all. Whatever
We got it
was.
on sale, I'm sure. Or did we do a Kickstarter?
No, we didn't. This wasn't Kickstarter. This was
I mean,
straight
it
to
can't be
retail.
too much because.
And yeah, I want to say like the MSRP is probably like $60. And
Okay.
So
For
but
$60,
when you go to a store, you don't usually pay MSRP. You pay a little bit less.
you're getting like more than one game. You're getting multiple different ways of playing the game. You got the single player, you got multiplayer, you got the different boards, the different sides, the different. I mean, there's nothing. It's a 10.
If you use the metric of, let's say we did pay $60 for it, we didn't. But let's say we did. Even at $60,
we didn't, honey.
even at $60, if you took how many times this game has been played with how many people and then divided that up, it'd be, we would probably still be under $1 per person a play, because we've played it so much with so many people.
Well
and
worth it.
We've got other board games. Like if you look at the ones that we've gotten that we haven't even played yet, well then that's not a very good value, because that we pay $60 for 0 plays, 0 people. But the more you play it, the better the value of the game becomes. And so, yeah, this I think this is a no-brainer. If you like the puzzle, I don't know what you what you wouldn't
like about
this.
it, yeah.
It's tough just to say what you wouldn't like about this.
Well, I'll tell you, I do remember one time we played this game, and everything Lisa and I did kept blocking everything you wanted to do.
You were
That would
miserable
be
that
about
game.
the only thing that.
Yeah,
but
I
that's
think
not the game's fault.
You
That
even
was-
said later you did not enjoy that game, but that was just because everything was thwarted.
Well, and I mean that's going to happen
Yeah.
sometimes. You know, there is the randomness of, you know, what location are you going to flip over? What guardian are you going to flip over? What
And you're
what
one that
items
doesn't really
are
like
available?
random.
Mhm.
And so I don't like random where it's to the point where you feel powerless. I'm a big fan of throwing in a little bit of random. We have a number of games that have minimal randomness to it, and that game comes down basically to the skill of the player. Le Havre is one. Le Havre, the random setup is just basically those starting tiles and what order the buildings are there, but then once you set up, you see all that.
Is that one of David's
you can
favorites?
plan. Yeah, David likes that one. And so that's one where it's like, if you do poorly, it's because you messed up. It wasn't because, oh, I flipped this or I rolled this die and it didn't work. And those games are great, but I think it's important for games like this to have a little bit of that random element where a new player can just have things just click,
Right.
and just go right, and they have a fantastic game and win. And a skilled player,
Like you did your first time.
like after we've gotten a number of games under our belt, we can be like, okay, well, this is the optimal move, and this is what we want to do. But sometimes you flip over that monkey that wants 4 coins, and you just can't get the 4 coins, and that can happen to the new player too. But it adds in that little bit of, okay, I lost, but it was because of that stupid monkey.
Right.
You know, so let's play
That cheeky monkey.
let's play again, instead of I had no idea what I was doing and you guys stomped me because you were stopping me at every turn. And with you add the solo and the creativity that went into that.
Yeah.
This game is the very definition of a 10, I think.
Yes, it is.
I conceded, Jenny.
That
So-
was a tough sell there. That was
Tough sell. It was just okay.
it's a 9 because I played it so much because I loved it.
We're
so
moving
much.
on.
I
We're
just
moving on.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna need a minute.
No, I get it.
He doesn't.
He gets
Because-
me.
But you're wrong.
If a game like, especially those ones that have the minimal randomness to it, it's like once you solve the puzzle, the puzzle's not interesting anymore. But this game, with the order that the items come out, the artifacts come out, what locations you discover, whatever your plan was can change in an instant.
Yes.
And you have to then be like, okay, so I didn't get the arrowhead that I thought I was going to get. So instead I got 2 tablets. That first game, I had so many tablets and I didn't move up at all because the first space required me to have arrowheads, and every place I went, they're discovering places and getting arrowheads. I'm discovering places and I'm getting tablets. And it's like I could go to this simple campsite to get an arrowhead to move forward, but it was like I can do something better. I can do something better this turn.
Well, I blocked
and do
you
something
like twice
else.
on there.
And so eventually I was able to get up, and those tablets were super useful later in the game. But yeah, it was just funny how I've never had a game like that where it's like I just can't get an arrowhead just by playing the game.
He had to work to get that arrowhead.
I didn't want to just well, I'll play this as a boot and go here and get an arrowhead just so I can move that up one space. It was like I want to get more.
You want your turn to mean more than just one arrow.
Yeah, I want to accomplish more than just moving from here to here.
Yeah.
And so that randomness puts that in there. It gives you the opportunity of having, okay, my plan has totally gone wrong. Where do I go? How do I fix this? What's my pivot? So I guess it goes without saying this one stays in the collection.
This one will stay in the collection. And again, just it's the first game we will always pull out if we've got newbies come into the gaming world. So
it's a really easy teach. The player aids that come with the game, I use that in the teach. I tell them on your turn you get to do one main action, and then I just start at the top of the sheet and work my way down explaining the different main actions, and that's basically how you teach the game. It's so easy.
And everybody's loved it. So yep, it's definitely a keeper.
All right, so there you go.
If you played it, let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you have any questions on the game or the playthrough, let us know.
If there's something that you didn't like about the game,
If it's not a 10,
I would like
let
to,
us know.
I would
Let
like to
Jenny
hear.
know,
Yeah,
because apparently
me
it's
know.
very important that this game be rated a 10.
And if
for
you
her.
were thinking about buying it, buy it.
There you go, straight from Jenny's mouth.
Buy it. You will not regret it. There's no way. There's no way.
I'd be curious to see if there are any people who can't stand this game. I would love
why?
I would
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
to hear why. You know, what is it that
And we won't tell Jenny.
No. Oh, I want to hear about it.
So yeah, so I think we're at the point that the next time we play this game, we'll bust out the expansion and give that
Or
a
the
few
next
tries.
side.
Or try the next side before the expansions.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? Because
We've
would
played
love to
this.
get more plays.
You and I
of
played this
side.
maybe twice. So, yeah.
So we'll get back with a video on the expansion sometime later. So look out for that. If you want to be notified when that comes out, you can subscribe. They say hitting the bell helps with that. If you like what we're doing, you can give it a thumbs up. If you don't like what we're doing, if you think this game is a 1 and we don't know what we're talking about, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. They've hidden the dislikes, so we don't see those. So just
So we don't care if you don't like it or not. Just
so, but yeah, we
And seek therapy.
love having you guys on this journey, and
It's a 10.
we're gonna play through more of our games and bring them to you.
Yep.
So
All right. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
You should
People
seek
are
therapy.
allowed
You
to
should
have
seek
different
therapy
opinions of
if
this
you
game.
don't like this game.